the secret to building generational or long lasting wealth is not just about making money, because there are so many people that have made a lot of money but they are bankrupt today. You need to know how to make money, how to manage money, how to grow money, and how to invest money properly. Quote: the earlier you can put your money to work to have that compounding effect, the better. An ex-Goldman Sachs wealth manager recently revealed top 3 ways to build wealth. It was a very interesting and informative video, but now I'm doing a TLDR, which basically means too long didn't read or too long didn't watch. I'm just going to be sharing my key takeaways from the video and giving my opinion on certain things as well. But I really recommend watching the full video if you have time, because there were so many gems that I can't possibly cover. I'll put the link in the description. Hi guys, my name is Adira and I make videos about personal development and finance. I watched this video last week and my immediate thought was I have to share. So I watched it again and took notes, and I'm just going to be reading the key points that I've highlighted and expanding on my thoughts. So the first thing she said that really spoke to me was her exposure to wealth and how it changed her perspective. Of course, being a Goldman Sachs wealth manager, she had definitely had the opportunity to work with very high value clients with net worth ranging from 10 million to billions. And I can't even imagine what it's like having access to those kind of people. But it just reminded me of a particular saying where I'm from. It's this saying where they say, if you are friends with five fools, you are the sixth. Like, you're not counting properly. They're actually six fools. And it seems funny, but I feel like that also applies in the opposite. If you are surrounded by five rich people, then obviously you would also, by value of your connection, if you're a smart person, also be rich. And if you are surrounded by five fools, as the saying says, you would also be a fool. Like, we really tend to underestimate the impact of our environment on our lives, or the impact of the people, the quality of people we surround ourselves on our life. If the people you surround yourself with are people that cannot see past a particular amount, or if this is their ceiling and they can't see past this, then subconsciously it's going to filter into your life as well, and then you begin to emulate their characteristics. If they operate in limiting beliefs, you begin to pick up their limiting beliefs. Because let's say you have a business idea now and you go to a friend of yours or a partner and you tell them about your idea, and immediately they shut it down. They tell you all the reasons why it will fail, all the reasons why you can't do that thing. It seeps into your subconscious and you start to believe it, and they just kind of ruin whatever you could have done. But if you are among people that, if you have an idea, you tell them, they push you, they believe in you, they give you resources, they help you, they're definitely going to grow. So you have to be very, very intentional about who you surround yourself with and what you surround yourself, like the kind of content you consume, which is one of the reasons why I'm making videos like this. Because recently, not just recently, I've always been passionate about finance, but I've been more intentional about creating my feed to watch things that would improve me, not just even financially, mentally, because it all starts with your mind. Change starts from the mind before it seeps into every other area of your life. But that's just one thing I wanted to get out of the way before I talk about the key investments she mentioned. And the first one she mentioned was property. Honestly, I feel like property is always going to be that girl. Like, if you look back, if you actually do the research, you realize that most of the people that have generational wealth today, how did they get that? It is mostly through properties. I watched a video the other day and they were like, for you to build wealth, you need four things. You can either sell commodities, you can start a business, you can invest in paper assets, which are stocks, yeah, or you can invest in properties. And honestly, property is just always going to be that girl, because property has a appreciating value. Property, if you buy a property for 10,000 naira today, in a year or two, that property can be worth like 25,000, 30,000, and that is such, like, property gives returns like no other. And property is just an investment that is very, very solid, regardless of wherever you are in. Even as bad as Nigeria is, which is where I am, property is still a good investment to make. And I can't even imagine how good it is abroad, where it actually holds very, very substantial value. Her second key investment is in startups. And at first, when I heard this, I was kind of, I mean, my first thought was, for you to invest in startup, you definitely need a large amount of money. That was my own thinking. I don't know if anybody is of the same school of thought, but I was just like, it's mostly rich people that invest in startups. Maybe like if you have $5,000, $10,000, and who has that kind of money lying around. So she mentioned something very interesting, which is that there are actually platforms that you can invest the little amount you have. So basically, you are buying a stake of that startup. So the way you invest in stocks or real estate using fintech platforms and all those savings app, you can do the same thing for startups. And startups has a very high risk, high return. You can either lose all your money or you can gain times 10 of the initial investment or the initial amount that you put in, which is crazy. And the third thing that she spoke about is ISA. So I think ISA is particular to the UK, and I mean I'm not in UK, and I know that I'm going to be speaking to people from all over the world, but I think we all have this particular scheme everywhere, wherever you are. So I'm just going to break down what the ISA refers to. It's just basically tax-free investment, tax-efficient way of investing in stocks and shares. So what I know about that from where I'm from is ETFs, buying ETFs and just investing in that. I know the US has their own scheme, South Africa has their own scheme, but there are definitely schemes you can research and look into, and it just ties back into the paper assets way of building wealth, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So the three schemes, just the three key investments, just to summarize, is property, startups, and ISA. But that's it about investment. There were some other things that I also found interesting, which I'll be sharing. One of them is to not put all your eggs in one basket. And this is a tale as old as time. Like, regardless of what you are doing, whether it's investing, whether it's pursuing anything in life, you just never put all your eggs in one basket. And the same applies to investing and diversifying your investment portfolio. Just because you like a certain thing doesn't mean you should put all your entire money there. I am partial to real estate. I don't currently own any property, but I do invest using apps. The particular app I actually like using. Good way to get started in real estate investments, even if you don't have initial capital to actually buy land. You can invest and you get a piece of the land that they're actually buying. It's actually very, very good because I'm very, very passionate about real estate. And for people that are also passionate but just don't know where to start, you can definitely check it out. I'll put my referral code, I'll put the link, check it out. Use my referral code. But aside that, I don't invest in stocks. I don't invest as much. There's going to be percentage. The percentage is lower than what I'd invest in real estate, but I still invest in stock because I know the importance and the essence of diversifying a person's portfolio. Another important takeaway from that video is surrounding yourself with the same financial mindset and financial goals that you have. Not even just financial, just goals in general. If you are with people that have limited beliefs or constantly think small, before you know it, it starts to seep into you as well, and you see yourself playing small, you see yourself being afraid of every and anything. It is so important to filter the quality of people you have around you. Don't surround yourself with people that are always going to be putting you in a negative space. Like, very, very important. Also, she spoke about her partner as well. This is for both men and women. When you are The decision of your life partner is a very important decision you're going to have to make, because this person is going to be the person you're going to spend, give or take, the next 50 to 60 years of your life with. And if you are with someone that you are unequally yoked with, or that does not share the same goals or ambitions you share, it's going to affect you. So you should be very intentional about who you surround yourself with, friendship wise, partner wise, also in the quality of content you consume online. Another important thing she spoke about is about having assets. An asset are things that gives you return with you putting little or no effort in, which is why, first of all, real estate is the best asset you can have, because apart from the initial capital needed to purchase it, you really have to not do so much intensive day-to-day work to actually manage the property, except you have a property manager or things like that. An asset can also be a business you start. Another key takeaway is having a scarcity mindset. So she was asked this question by the interviewer, which is Lamide Elizabeth, of does she think anybody can be rich? And her honest answer was no. But why did she say no? She didn't say no because she's trying to be an up or anything. It's just because she says that not everybody has an abundance mindset. Like, a lot of people are operating in scarcity because of our surrounding, how we grew up, just many, many factors. Nigeria especially is almost designed to make you have a scarcity mindset, because there's just so many things that are not working. But you kind of have to break out of that. You have to have an abundance mindset if you are ever going to get wealthy. There's this saying that I also like. They said poor people see problems, rich people see opportunities. If there's a problem, a poor person will look at it and say, ah, this is the problem. But a rich person will say, oh, how can I assist? How can I add value? How can I solve this problem to turn it into an opportunity which would now result in them having more money? You see how it works? Very, very interesting thing. Another takeaway is that building wealth also requires sacrifices. I believe in work life balance, but of late I've been noticing or I've been having to come to terms with the fact that if there are certain things you want to achieve in life, if there are certain places you want to reach, certain goals you set for yourself that is just more than the basic, you're definitely going to have to make sacrifices and compromises. So instead of spending your weekend binge watching maybe that K drama, that series, that new Hollywood drop, you may have to spend it building your business. You may have to spend it building your personal brand. You may have to spend it developing yourself, getting certificates, upskilling. Like the truth is that nothing. I don't want to be of this mindset that you have to work too hard to get everything, but there are definitely certain times where you have to make sacrifices and do things that you necessarily would not want to do because of the greater good. Another interesting thing she spoke about was the importance of meditating and manifesting. Funny enough, after I watched that episode last week, I started listening to the person she recommended, and honestly, it's been very eye opening. Minus the meditating aspect, it also has to do with manifesting. And regardless of watching this episode, I've been a heavy believer in manifesting. Like, I'm a very, very strong believer in manifesting. I believe that your belief works for you. To put it quite simply, if you believe things will work out for you, things will work out for you. If you believe things will not work out for you, things will not work out for you. And while I know it's easier said than done, because there are definitely certain things that goes up in the back of your mind, your subconscious cannot just be rebuilt within a day. It takes consistent, intentional effort. But I'm very, very I'm a very, very strong believer in manifestation. So if you are as well, let me know. I'll put the link or I'll send you a message responding to the particular one she recommended for us to listen to, which I've actually been enjoying. And I mean, even I don't know if you believe it or not, but I do feel like I've even begun to see results in my life just last week that I actually started watching it. And the final takeaway from the video is to quote, the earlier you can put your money to work to have that compounding effect, the better. Like, I couldn't have been said better myself. As a young person, I know that there will definitely be different kind of people watching this video from like, I'm expecting 18 to maybe like 30, 40, even 50 is young to be honest. But as a young person, your greatest asset is actually time, and people don't understand that. Like, you have time and compounding interest. Those are so important because what if you start saving in your 20s, the amount you have by 50 is going to be significantly different from the person that starts saving in their 30s and the person that starts saving in their 40s. So there's this thing that she spoke about is regarding the ISA thing, which I would use for my own understanding of it. Is like ETFs, just basically investing. If you can invest consistently for over 20 years, you can actually become a millionaire. Like, it is very, very, very possible. But the thing is that people want returns fast, they want money fast. And what you don't understand is that regardless, the time will pass. Someday you're going to be 50. So you could either be 50 with $1 million, or you could be 50 with 20,000, like 20,000, like depending on the decisions and the choices that you take. So I'm just going to repeat that again, just for those in the back that did not hear it. The earlier you can put your money to work for you to have that compounding effect, the better. The earlier you can put your money to work for you to have that compounding effect, the better. And that's it for today's video. If you like this style of video, let me know because I definitely will be doing more. I listen to podcasts every day, like every weekday. I'm always listening to one podcast or the other because I love learning, especially about finances, mindset, because it's just more than making money. The secret to building generational or long lasting wealth is not just about making money, because there are so many people that have made a lot of money but they are bankrupt today. You need to know how to make money, how to manage money, how to grow money, and how to invest money properly. So if you're interested in this kind of content, please subscribe. Also like this video to push the algorithm, and comment your favorite um key investment from the three things that they said. Which one do you think you'll be trying today? Let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.